What's up guys, Chris here for Nerd Night, and we're talking about the next 3 months in War of the Visions Global. There's a lot to talk about, not a lot of time to do it, so we're going to jump right into our WotV DeLorean and take a look at the future. And that future, it starts with Trustmaster Runes, and I know what you're thinking, Chris, I was waiting for something like this, which is going to force me to spend more time on the game and have even less of an idea of what I'm doing. Yeah, me too. These are going to allow you to attach extra stats to each of your TMR gear and customize them how you want to without getting too far into the weeds here. I'll just tell you, you're going to need a lot of adamantite. Like, if you think you have enough for this, you don't. You really don't. I'm hearing like 15, 20, even 25,000 gold adamantite. And no, I'm not adding an extra 0 to this for fun. This isn't the Visual cost of the Royal Rank packs. Next, we've all known about this for a while, but you're going to be able to slap multiple vision cards or 2 vision cards on each unit instead of 1. This is kind of cool. The fallout's going to be that you're likely even going to have to focus on specific elements even further than you already are. And for free-to-play or light spenders, you're going to need up to 10 vision cards for specific teams in specific elements. This also makes those generic vision cards a lot more valuable. Now, for upcoming collabs, we have Final Fantasy VI. We all know about this. This is the 2-year anniversary. This is going to hit us mid to late March. We have Locke, Terra, Celes, and a vision card. Final Fantasy XIV will be making a return at some point during March. Thancred, Y'shtola, those aren't new, but we do have a pretty sweet vision card coming. After that, Persona 5, The Royal, and admittedly, I know nothing about this game, even less than I wish I knew about Jackson Mahomes' TikTok account, but we will cover how these units fit into War of the Visions. Finally, we know, quote, that collab is finally coming back. The one we've all been waiting for. It's Final Fantasy X. Yeah, Final Fantasy X. I mean, what did you guys think I was going to say? You know, it couldn't have possibly been something else. There's nothing else that could have been. First off, the Halloween units, and there's a lot of temptation here when it comes to Halloween Leela. For those of you who have Doom and More the Merrier, and maybe don't have a third wind unit, Leela is absolutely a top tier unit. Even those who don't play wind, she's really, really powerful. But for free to play, if you do decide to throw some Visual at her, and we're going to talk about it in a second, but she's the only Halloween unit you should be doing this for. If you do throw Visual at her, make sure you have enough for all of the stuff that's coming up. Halloween Ryu, yeah, I don't know. He kind of sucks at this point, but his TMR is crazy good, giving any unit re-raise. The only way I'd be pulling for him is if you already have one or both of the other Halloween units, and you need that slight bump to your PvP team that his TMR can give. Halloween Freddy, yeah, no, she fell flat pretty quickly, and clearly we aren't talking about her pumpkins here. She's a decent unit, but is more of a novelty piece. Hashtag not my Freddy, hashtag great gourds. Lanan, Crystal Warrior, cost 100, you know the drill by now. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you shouldn't pull on Lanan. He's a great unit. High power magic, dispels barriers and AoE attacks, surprisingly tanky. I think in global he's actually going to be more impactful because of Ibarra. Lightning teams are already pretty strong, but Lanan does give them a little bit more oomph. For free to play though, if you missed Ibarra, certainly Lanan is going to play a huge role on your Lightning team, but if you already have that Ibarra, Cloud, and Charlotte team, the small bump that he's going to give you in power probably doesn't justify the 40,000 Visual and the half chance to pull him, so go ahead and pass. Europa is the matching vision card for him, and this is absolutely a must-have if you have Lanan or Ibarra. Both the Esper and Vision card do way too much for lightning magic attacks to ignore. Even the agility and crit bonuses are good for your physical attackers like Cloud, Charlotte, and Freddy. If you don't have Lanan or Ibarra, or you don't play primary lightning, I'd say you could save up the Visual and just pick it up later, as it's going to be non-limited. Chaos Odin, and I know, I forgot Chaos Odin last time, and there's so much crap on this card I actually couldn't even fit it on the screen. Basically, it's a weird version of the Fenrir card, but for both water and ice. I love the idea of dual element vision cards because I feel like the mono element thing we've been doing for a year now is kind of getting a bit stale. I think for ice units, Chaos feels like a side grade to Fenrir. I wouldn't justify the cost if you're playing an ice team. For water, I mean, it also feels like a side grade from Clairvoyant Astrologer. If you don't have Fenrir, you don't have Clairvoyant Astrologer, or you actually want to try running some crazy dual water ice teams, then go ahead and knock yourself out. Otherwise, you would probably be fine passing. Final Fantasy VI, Locke is great. He will be free. Is he going to upgrade the Jaden Elena teams? No, probably not, but similar to how 2B and Tifa are for Wind now, Locke and Violet are two upcoming units that can give you a very competitive light team at a pretty low cost. Especially new players should take advantage of him being free and build to 120 for about 10 or 15,000 Vizor. Terra is kind of the same. She's a very well-designed unit, not game-breaking, but certainly strong. She's very tanky, a variety of slash and magic attacks to exploit weaknesses in tanks, and a little of everything. She doesn't break the top 3 units for me when it comes to fire. That stays with King Mont, Satia, and Cinderella Shella, but Terra easily slots in at number 4 and could flex in for any of those 3 units in different situations for PvP. Her vision card, I mean, if you're focusing on a fire team, you should just grab this. Human Killer on magic attacks is such a strong buff, and Terra, Rain, Fancy Glaciella, Summer Catone, these are all units that can benefit, and we may see units in the future that can also benefit from this. Spirit and Missile Resist aren't the best other bonuses on this card, but certainly welcome for units like King Mont or Rain. If you don't have an immediate interest in fire teams though, this is probably a card that you aren't going to miss too much. And now our Imperial Magitech Queen, Celes. She's great, and even if you're not strong with water, she's a fantastic magic tank because of her runic blade ability, but those expecting her to dominate like she did in JP may want to hear me out here for a second. Global did have the foresight on Final Fantasy VII, so there's a lot more clouds out in the wild than there were in JP, and in addition, Ibarra exists in Global, and she has a couple of very high damage abilities that can't be blocked by runic. Winter Luartha, not blockable. You are Zazan, not blockable. Oh, and let's not forget about Elena, not blockable. So Celes is still a great magic tank, and Celes plus Alstoria will still be very strong, but do temper your expectations here a little bit. In Global, she won't be quite as strong as she was in JP. We will be getting a vision card with Final Fantasy XIV. Light units, slash resistance penetration, magic resistance, HP, because, you know, Elena needs a little boost in Global. I have this as a card everyone should be considering whether you play light or not, because there are just so many easy to build light slash units with Lucio, Locke, Cecil, Engelbert, Thancred, and so on. Slash resist penetration, HP, and magic resistance are 3 great bonuses on a single card. In the long run, almost any account will benefit from this vision card, especially for things like selection quests and element specific missions. Bellis, he's the Ice Crystal Warrior, and again, like Lanan, he's a very strong unit. It's all about weighing the cost to get him versus how much he can help your account, and Ice doesn't really have a truly dedicated tank except for Freyevia kinda and Agrius, but she doesn't have her 120 yet. And Bellis has healing and defensive buffs that makes the entire Ice element a lot tankier. He will fit fine into pretty much any Ice team, but I imagine you'll want to pair him with units like Valentine's Solir or Freyevia. Not too many have Freyevia though, so Bellis can kind of slot in however you want in any Ice team, but the power of Ice teams is basically tied directly to gear and vision cards, so look at your account, decide if you play primary Ice, if you can make the most of him. If not, then go ahead and give him a pass. Shivering Heart is the matching card for Bellis. Yes, for all Ice accounts. 50% magic is a whopper of a buff, and 10 AoE resist is another great side effect, but the PvE effect of this card cannot be understated. While max damage up is almost pointless for PvP, it's a great added effect for raids and trials, and frees up an additional vision card slot for Ice raid teams. If you don't run Ice, just don't bother with this card. Persona 5, Queen is going to be the free unit we get, and you know, she's okay. I mean, her biggest advantage is having access to missile, magic, and strike damage. By the way, Celes and Alstoria, weak to lightning and strike. I do think she's the cheap option if you're having trouble with that water meta. I think experienced accounts will find they already have better options in a lot of different ways than Queen. She's mostly a pass and slow build for almost everybody in my mind. Joker, I honestly don't even know. Like, seriously, somebody in the comments tell me what he does, because best I can tell, he's a high damage dark slash and missile unit. He's like Ruin Stern that makes us less sad. Bottom line is, if you have any combination of the vision cards in the bottom right there, he's gonna be pretty good for you. If you don't, he's just going to be a well-dressed marshmallow shooter. The Persona 5 Vision card, this is going to make those marshmallows hit more like marshmallows that have been sitting in your pantry for 6 months and that are stale and hard, but really, this is a must-have for all dark accounts. Man-Eater on physical, accuracy, HP, 3 great party buffs, a card that all dark accounts will want to have, and a card that every account will eventually want to slot in on dark teams for elemental missions. Violet, same thoughts as Locke here. For the purposes of simplicity, she fills a very similar role. Slash attack, evasion. She allows already strong light teams to shift more towards evasion, but she doesn't necessarily make really strong light accounts stronger. She just gives them more options. If you're on the cheap for light, I'd say you could pass and just use Locke in pretty much the same role. Cool Papa Alstoria. No, not Astoria, which is, fun fact, the location where they filmed the movie Goonies. Alstoria is a god tier bruiser unit. He's the best unit to come out since June. He has AP restore tools, double courage, guaranteed hits, barrier breaks, re-raise removal. As the ladies would say, he's the full package. If you want a strong water team, he's a must-have. Like June for wind, there's just too much to like here. Even without strong water, he's a water centerpiece you can build around for at least a year. Alstoria's matching vision card, however, is a lot less essential. If you're worried about water mirror matches, that 20 water resist is pretty nice, but accuracy you can get elsewhere, and water attack has a better card you'll want to use anyway, which is thanks for the votes. If you're all in on water, this is still only a consideration and not a must pull. An Oberon Jaden Vision card, again, because light just needs more tools. I think this card is essential for those that run primary light in PvP. The 20 light resistance is just too valuable for mirror matches, especially with how dominant the light meta has been. And oh, by the way, you get luck and acquired AP too on this card. The great thing is that this card can slot in for a magic or physical attacker as well. If you play light primary in PvP, definitely grab this card. It'll make those mirror matches a little bit easier. If not, just wait. You don't have to pick this thing up. Resnick, she's a return to non-limited units, mercifully, and she's lightning, she's magic. I hope you're beginning to see the theme here for lightning, but she's more of a healer and support than pure magic attacker. I don't know much about her and her wonky knee, but I do know that healers have become a whole lot less essential, and units that are non-limited and not cost 100 aren't typically all that impactful. Finally, I will mention that there are 2 more cost 100 units on the horizon much later for us. Little Leela, Beautiful Blade, and yes, Sadali are both coming to War of the Visions. Just a couple of notes here, both are going to be cost 100, and if y'all been paying attention the last year and through all of these Crystal Warriors, cost 100 is the new Ultra UR. Remember, after the 1-year anniversary, we got King Mont and Black Witch Helena, both of which are still heavily in use today. I would expect both of these units to be very strong and units that you should at least set aside 30 to 50,000 for in late April or May. And that's it, folks. Let me know what units you're looking forward to in the next 3 months. You all watched me incinerate about 60,000 Visuor on Lunar Moor, so I'm looking at Celes and maybe Alstoria, depending on how lucky I get, with complete passes on Persona 5 and the plethora of lightning magic units in the pipeline. On the way out, I will recommend that everybody checks out Arcane on Netflix if you haven't already. Listen, I know absolutely nothing about League of Legends. I've never played it, I've never watched it. I barely even know what it is, but I'm telling you, this show is phenomenal. Don't let the animation fool you. This isn't some kind of kids cartoon. This is a mature show. You don't have to know anything about League of Legends to enjoy it. The writing, the characters, the art, the environments, they're all incredible. Cannot recommend this show enough. Appreciate everyone dropping in. Hope you enjoy the 2-year anniversary. We will catch you next time.